On today's installment of Silver Screen News, guess what? Even more Barbie news to report for you for the fourth week in a row, because for a fourth week in a row, we got another record. Deadpool 3 news, a new horror movie to look out for, some unfortunate Disney Plus news, and a whole lot more.
And of course, we go back in time for Throwback Thursday, all on Silver Screen News.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Silver Screen News with the illustrious voice of me, Nicolero. And as always,
And me, the 1AJ, Anthony Jordan.
Jordan, if it is your first time joining us here on Silver Screen News, this is our weekly movie news show where we discuss all the latest rumors, scandals, news, gossip from the world of movies, give you our opinions about what's going on so you can form your own opinions, and you can even share your opinions down in the comment section down below. Also down below, if you want to jump to a very specific news story, of which we have 6 today, you can jump to that specific news story using the timestamps down below. And if it is your first time joining us, please do be sure to like this video, share it with anyone who you think may be interested, and be sure to subscribe and tickle that notification bell so you know whenever we have a new piece of content going out. Do be sure to check us out on all social channels such as Instagram and TikTok. If you haven't already, just search the Silver Screen Dudes. But with all that said and done, let's talk about what is hot off the press. Yes. As I said right off the bat, AJ, are you surprised? Barbie.
It's a name I've not heard in a while.
Here we go. It seems to be like the top story every single week here. But listen, as long as this thing keeps making records, we are going to keep talking about it because it's hit the zeitgeist. It is Trey in vogue at the moment. So let's just get some context for this. It was just last week, in its third week, that we reported that Barbie had hit 1 billion, which is nuts. But it hit 1 billion in 3 weeks, and it became Warner Brothers' top grossing movie ever. Now, this isn't even a news story. It's just something I looked at out of curiosity on Box Office Mojo. And I was like, holy Christ, you've done that in a week? That's insane. Let's have a look at this. Let me just open up Box Office Mojo here. Let me bring up there's 2 tabs I'm going to be looking at on Box Office Mojo today. Let me get the first one up. Here we go. So, the domestic weekend. Barbie, for the 4th week in a row, is at number 1. But, dude, look at this. 33 million in its 4th week. It's only dropped by 36.2%. Just for context, normally movies have a 50 to 55% drop off between week 1 to 2, because obviously if it's a big IP, everyone goes out to see them. Then it has the big drop off, word of mouth gets out, and the movie keeps making money, but it never gets back to where it was. This is week 4, and it's only had a 36% drop off. That is nuts. Especially when you consider that there's actually quite a lot of good movies out at the moment, between Oppenheimer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Last Voyage of the Demeter. I'm yet to see. It hasn't dropped here in the UK, sadly. Avoid the Meg 2 at all cost if you can, please. No, genuinely, it is beyond terrible. But so that was the US domestic box office, yes?
Yeah.
Now, when Barbie made 1 billion last week, it entered companionship with 53 movies. Only 53 movies, including Barbie, have ever made 1 billion or more. So obviously Barbie made 1 billion and it entered at 53. Yes? Okay. Okay. Let's just have a look to see exactly what Barbie has done here. So I've taken the liberty of opening it up. If you cast your eyes here to number 53, Jurassic World Dominion, yes? Mm-hmm. Making $1.001 billion, followed by The Dark Knight, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Alice in Wonderland, that crazy that made 1 billion, Zootopia, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Finding Dory, Despicable Me 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Aladdin remake. 10 movies in, AJ. We're at 43 now, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, Joker, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, The Dark Knight Rises, Transformers Age of Extinction, Jurassic Park. AJ, we're at 34 now. Transformers Dark of the Moon, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, James Bond Skyfall, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Aquaman, Captain America Civil War, and in at 26 is Minions, and 25 is Barbie. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big bad Barbs? Talk to me, brother. How do you explain this?
I don't actually know. I actually don't know how to put this into word. What is going on? Because don't get me wrong, while I will defend the Barbie movie, I'm not going to go out there and say it's the greatest movie. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
It's good for cinema, and I will always wave that flag. And I've always said it was smarter than I expected it to be, and that's why I appreciate the film for what it is. But it's not the greatest movie. Is it going to be in my top 10? Well, it all depends on what other films I see for the year. I've not seen that many, so by proxy, you will be in there, Barbie. But I get it, and I understand that people missed out. So that sellout seat after sellout seat might mean that you're doing it because it's finally available. I can't. I haven't, and I'm yet to meet someone who said I've seen Barbie twice. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's
so it's
true.
very impressive that it's where it's at as quick as it's got. That is a quick climb from 53 to 24. Like, you're doing numbers, girl. Like, wow. And again, credit to it. I have no beef with anyone in the film, anyone who made the film, or anything about the film. But wow, wow.
So you've actually said something quite interesting here, because as you said, I don't have a problem with the Barbie movie. I actually quite enjoyed the Barbie movie. I don't think it's the greatest movie of the year. I don't think it's going to make my top 10. I don't even think it's the best movie that made $1 billion this year. But I've got absolutely no issue with it. What was it we saw online? It's Black Panther for white. It just is. That's so correct. But here's the thing. Look at the quality of movies it has ousted. Wherever you may fall, I think there's a general consensus that things like The Dark Knight, Toy Story 3, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and it goes on and on and on, are fantastic movies. Jurassic Park, fantastic movies. If there was ever an instance of proof needed that box office does not equal quality, here you go. And that's not throwing shade at Barbie. I say again, I like this film. Not my favorite of the year, but I like it. But this shows that box office does not reflect film quality.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No, it is that. It's hype. I believe hype will create it. And I still maintain, I would love, as a question that we will put down to anyone right now, have you seen the Barbie movie twice? I want to know. It's not like an old previous life, who are you? Do you exist? It's not that one. But I do want to know, has anyone seen, if you know, you know. But has anyone seen the Barbie movie twice? Like, for it to be this mega monster that it is, talk to me. Like, it's not that you're not wrong, because it's a good film. It is an enjoyable film.
Yeah.
But who's out there? What is still making the Barbie movie the monster that it is?
It's insane. So yeah, that's a great question actually to end this segment on. Leave your thoughts and your comments down below. Are you one of the people who has seen the Barbie movie twice, thrice, more? Who knows? Let us know down below, and do be sure to like the video and subscribe if you have not done so already. Right, our next topic, AJ. It's not much that's actually hot off the press this week. So far, it's a bit of a slow news week, but we've got one nice little tidbit that is hot off the press. A new horror movie, which always makes me happy. This is from the world of Blumhouse, who, listen, let's be honest. As studios go, Blumhouse has very quietly been going about its business, making superb superb movies. And what they do that's so clever is that they make small movies on a budget. Look at things like the movie you love, Invisible Man.
Yeah.
That was made on a shoestring, but look how good that film was. That's just one of many examples I can quote the Blumhouse do. They are a powerhouse studio. Megan, that's Blumhouse. Made on a shoestring again. Jason Blum knows how to stretch a budget. It's the mark of a really good producer. He knows how to stretch a budget and get the most out of what he's got at his disposal. And we have another Blumhouse movie that has now had some photos leaked. It's not one I've heard of, but here's the full story from Empire with the first look at new Blumhouse horror, Totally Killer. After being announced last year, new Blumhouse and Prime Video collaboration Totally Killer is headed to screens in October. And now the first images are online featuring stars Kiernan Shipka and Julie Bowen. Check them out above and lower down the page. Directed by Nanachka Khan. I hope I've got that name right. Nanachka Khan. The film follows Jamie, whose mum Pam is terrorized by the resurgence of the Sweet 16 killer. Oh, I see what we're doing here. A masked maniac that slaughtered a group of teenage girls in the 80s. With the help of her friend Amelia, she travels back in time. Wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. She travels back in time to 1987 and teams up with the teen version of her mum to try and stop the killer. Okay, I love this. Sounds actually great. Here's some images right now that we've got playing. Sorry if you're listening on podcast. The cast also includes Lachlan Monroe, Charlie Gillespie, Steffi Chinsalvo, Anna Diaz, Jeremy Mon. I'm definitely going to butcher this name, so my apologies. Jeremy Mon Jasgna, Troy Lee Ann Johnson, Ella Choi, Liana Liberato, and Nathaniel Appiah and Jonathan Pott. Totally Killer will be on Prime Video on the 6th of October. Okay. I know what you're going to say, so why don't you just go ahead and say it? What's your thoughts on this announcement?
Well, my instant reaction is if you're going to release it in October and you're a horror movie, I mean, October 31st? I don't know, just a thought. But it's an interesting one because when I first heard like the word like Totally Killer and it's something to do with Teen Mum and what have you, I kind of had like a Freaky Friday twisted horror. Now I know we had that film with Matthew Vaughn, that was Vince Vaughn, sorry, just not too long ago, so it would have been very similar to that. But interesting. Interesting. I'm not the biggest horror fan, granted.
Really?
But surprise. But Blumhouse has been interesting. It was really funny. Like if you paid attention to our Movies About Toys podcast, shameless plug, you will hear that I mentioned how Megan reminded me of The Invisible Man. I didn't even stop to think that they were from the same production house. Now it kind of makes sense to me on the chills and the good feels that it gave me. Being straight to stream tells me it doesn't have to be as good as the stuff that he would put out in cinema, but straight to stream doesn't mean bad movie. And that's what I'm going to make a strong caveat on there. I'm not to say that I've followed a lot of Amazon straight to stream movies. I've seen some. I think the last one I saw had J-Lo and it wasn't great, but it doesn't mean none of them will be good. I think Radcliffe, Pretoria, that prisoner movie went there.
Pretoria, yeah, that was pretty good.
That's you can do hit and miss with it. So I'm interested because Jason Blum has given me something to be interested in. So yeah, I didn't expect time travel. I just did not expect time travel in that. But I love time travel anyway, so bring it on.
Yeah, look, when you're going to tell me that you're going to... Look, this movie, let's be real, it's a mashup of I Know What You Did Last Summer meets Back to the Future. Like, let's just be real. I'm going to go back to a period when my mum was a teenager and help her stop a Sweet 16 killer. Well,
it also feels like it has hints of Halloween in it as well. I don't know, it just feels like the ultimate mashup. But
just love it. Just, because this sounds wacky. This doesn't sound like just another teen slasher film. To be fair, I haven't actually seen a teen slasher for a while, but something new to the genre? Yeah, all for that. Hell yeah, why not? And on the topic of it being an Amazon-only release, remember, Amazon Video, the same studio that gave us the brilliant movie The Big Sick with Kumail Nanjiani. So this is a company that has, this is, a studio that has pedigree. Like, I am interested to see what Amazon Prime do. Something you want to add?
Listen, with me saying that as well, The Whale was an Amazon production. Air is an Amazon production. It's not to say it's bad. It's just straight to has me wondering, but it's not to say it's bad. Amazon have
That's
delivered.
true. The Whale, yeah, good pulls actually. It's so good. I love that film. But yeah, guys, look, are you horror fans? Let us know what you think about this new movie coming from the team over at Blumhouse. I'm super excited for it. I want to know what you guys have to think. That's actually it this week for what is hot off the press. And we've got 3 or 4 news stories from last week that we need to get into. So let's just get into our next topic that we simply call News Update. And we are back in the room. So, what's been going on in the world of news since last week when we stopped hitting the record button? And now, let's have a quick look. We've got a few tasty morsels to share with you. The excuse me. The first of which is Blue Beetle, AJ. Now, we've talked about it on the channel before, and we've talked about how it's most likely going to be, a massive, massive flop.
Yeah.
I think we've also both said that the trailers look quite good.
Yeah. Can I say one thing before you bring the story up? One thing I did realize, as much as I enjoyed the trailer, I am not a fan of the poster.
No,
I see the
not
poster
at all.
around town, and I feel it just doesn't do it any justice to attract people.
Not at all. Bad poster design. Call me to do your thumbnails in the future. Check out Daddy Goo if you want to see what I'm talking about. Shameless plug. Daddy Goo on YouTube. Follow me now. But let's talk about this, AJ, because while Blue Beetle is about to release this very Friday, in fact, at the time you're viewing this, it might be on Friday when Blue Beetle is about to release. I would say, based on these first reactions, you should get your butts to the cinema and watch this movie, because the first reactions for the Blue Beetle movie are fantastic, AJ. Absolutely fantastic. Let me close this ad down. There we go. The Blue Beetle first reactions are in, quote, my favorite post-Nolan DC film. Woo! That's some steam there. The first reactions to Blue Beetle are in. This is from The Hollywood Reporter. Fans and influencers are tweeting their impressions of the newest superhero title, and general takeaway is this. Blue Beetle is a surprisingly solid superhero origin story with a winning performance by star Cholo Maridueña and plenty of heart, humor, and a warm embrace of Latin culture. The new film, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, stars Maridueña as Jaime Reyes, who gains superpowered armor following an interaction with an alien scarab. It's DC's first film to center on a Latino superhero, and the second to last project from DC's old guard before James Gunn and Peter Safran took the reins. There's still Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom coming in December, lest we forget. DC certainly hopes will break the superhero fatigue glut and perform better than the recent disappointment of The Flash. Given that the following are not official film critic reviews, they should be taken with some skepticism, as first reactions tend to skew positive. Just read The Hollywood Reporter's one rundown of hyperventilating The Flash reactions. Among the best superhero films ever made, from CinemaCon, for a sense of how such tweets sometimes age poorly. From Steve Weintraub works at Collider. So Steve Weintraub says, happy to report Blue Beetle was so much better than I expected. He's added his own flavor to the superhero genre by having the film focus on a tight-knit family and Latino culture. It's fun, extremely funny, and he got away with a few jokes that floored me. Vanessa D says, happy to finally share Blue Beetle is everything I hoped it would be. Angel Manuel Soto filled the film with the heart of Latin culture and focused on the importance of family and believing in yourself against all odds. It's the best film to come out of the DCU since Wonder Woman. And yeah, the positive reviews, we could keep on reading them, but they go on and on and on. The official description, Recent college grad Jaime Reyes returns home full of aspirations for his future. As he searches to find his purpose in the world, fate intervenes when Jaime unexpectedly finds an ancient relic of alien biotechnology, the Scarab. When the Scarab suddenly chooses Jaime to be its symbiotic host, he is bestowed with an incredible suit of armor capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero Blue. Blue Beetle was initially slated to be an. This is the interesting part. Blue Beetle was initially slated to be an HBO Max release back when DC was planning to make a string of movies for the streaming service that's since been rebranded Max. Gunn confirmed on the Insider View with Michael Rosenbaum podcast that Blue Beetle is the first DCU character, and that's the first full DCU movie in Superman. While Maridueña told the Hollywood Reporter last year, the family aspect of this movie and to the character is inherent in the comics and so special. The family we've been able to create in the movie, the mom, dad, uncle, sister, grandmother, I feel like that aspect of being a superhero hasn't been tapped into a ton. Blue Beetle hits theaters this Friday, August 18th. AJ, reports are good. Are you going to be rushing to see Blue Beetle? Let me know.
So, am I rushing out to see this film? No. And it's not that I don't want to see it. It's just that Oppenheimer and Gran Turismo are just taking precedence for me. It's films I want to see really badly before they leave the cinema. But I do want to see it. I'm also very much interested in learning about superheroes. I am that superhero guy. Death tuxes and comic book movies. That's AJ. And that's the thing. I do, however, feel that there is a lot of Barbie and Black Panther on this situation. I feel that it's got a certain attraction that's going to be there based on culture. I know it says it's grounded in like family values. Miss Marvel also done that. Not that I've seen the series, but I'm aware that that's what it was. So I believe we're going to get cultural references on a film basis as opposed to what we got on a TV series like we did with Miss Marvel. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that this film is looking positive, but then again, the article says it. The Flash looked positive, and I don't want to be negative or risk myself getting cancelled by saying, as much as we, and this is both of us, will enjoy it, I know there's going to be a deeper appreciation in the Latin community. The same way it was for me in Black Panther. People can watch Black Panther and enjoy it, but there are certain references that culturally you will appreciate. Now, I'm all for that, and everyone deserves to get that. The same way a woman will appreciate something in Barbie that a guy will miss. The same way I will appreciate something from Black Panther that others will miss. It is good to be represented that way, and it keeps it grounded and cultural, which makes it authentic to the character. I just hope for it to be good, because why would I want it to be bad? There is no reason for me to not want Blue Beetle to be a success. I like DC. I like it's a new superhero. It's good for cinema. There is no reason for me to want it to be bad. I just haven't got the world's biggest confidence in DC. Not that Flash was a bad movie, but I'm just still in skeptical ground when it comes with this company. And I have to also acknowledge, I know it was different people in control at the time, but this was slated to go straight to stream as opposed to cinema. Again, it goes back to my streaming versus cinema argument. How much effort's the wrong word, but is it really cinema worthy? Let's hope.
You've actually just struck a chord with something that I was going to say there, because I actually think Blue Beetle's been through quite an incredible journey, from being at one point out and out cancelled to then being said, no, it's not that bad, put it on streaming, to big boss David Zaslav over at Warner Brothers coming in and saying, hang on, this is actually quite good. Put it out in the cinema. We can make money off this. That's quite the vote of confidence to go from being, we're going to cancel you, to streaming, to actually having a cinema release. So I'm kind of batting for this movie. You know, I listen, I think it's still going to be a flop, sadly. I'm going to be there opening night. So, you know, look out for my out of theater reaction and review that'll drop this weekend. But I would really like to see this movie not bomb as hard as everyone is anticipating it to bomb, though it probably will. Not because I think it's going to be a bad movie, but because I think the people who are invested in the superhero continuity are fully aware that this doesn't basically exist in the next few years. Like, yeah, maybe the first DC character, what the hell that means still hasn't been explained, but it's not going to be part of this new DC universe. So I don't think people really care about it. So to those people, I would now say, F continuity, Get out there and go and support what looks to be a really fun movie and just take it as an isolated, on its own superhero movie. You know, how it used to be before all the universes took over Hollywood. This could just be an isolated, fun, run of the mill cinema movie. Doesn't need to tie anything else, just needs to entertain you for 2 hours. So go and give it
New
a chance.
Mutants. New Mutants.
New
That's what that was.
Mutants. There you go. Anything
No,
else?
I just wanna make it one thing. I feel that the reason this film will flop more than anything is what we kicked off with. I don't think the poster is attractive enough. It looks like a weird. It looks like it's Licorice Pizza does sci-fi. That's what I kind of get. It's a weird kind of poster. Now, if you've been in a cinema, you'll be lucky enough to have seen the trailer, and it will attract you because the trailer looks awesome. But if I ever saw that as a poster, I'd be like, "What are you selling me?" It doesn't give me enough to say I want to try that, and that I feel is their letdown. But I hope it does well. The Flash poster looked awesome, and it sucked in terms of box office numbers, not as a film. So hey, maybe I'm wrong. Make it be. Best of luck, Blue Beetle.
Yeah, really best of luck, Blue Beetle. And let us know down below, guys. Are you going to see Blue Beetle this weekend? Are you all caught up on the other big movies that are out? If you're not, Oppenheimer and Turtles, get on it. Both fantastic. Also, Gran Turismo, review for all of those up on the channel. So check it out. Really good movies. And if you have seen all those, are you going to be seeing Blue Beetle? Because it looks like fun. So go and support a movie and not care that it's not part of a big superhero universe. Just enjoy. And our next story, AJ. Our next story. What have we got next? Money. More money, more problems. Or in this case, more streaming, more problems. Because AJ, not that I am going to complain about this, because you're doing me a solid, and I'll say no more. Disney Plus are raising their prices again. Just for some context. 8 months ago, Disney Plus was, I'm going in US dollars here, and I'm sure the co-equivalent was applicable to the UK. 8 months ago, Disney Plus was $7.99.
Yeah, it was GBP as well. Yeah.
Then they raised it to $10.99. Then they raised it to $13.99. Considering that is less than a year, that is quite the price hike. Now, before I go into the full story, let's just add, you know what? I'm going to save this for after the full story because this is tasty. So let's actually get into the full story about Disney raising their prices here, shall we? Here we go. Disney Plus price rise. Streaming service increases prices by almost, thank you, advert, by almost a third and threatens password crackdown. Disney will dramatically increase the price of its streaming service. Disney Plus prices will rise by as much as 27%, with the company saying that it is facing a challenging market. At the same time, the company will roll out an ad-supported tier in the UK and will allow customers to subscribe for $4.99 per month. And its chief executive, Bob Iger, said that next year it would be looking to launch a password-sharing crackdown to attempt to force different households to have their accounts, much like Netflix did. Here we go. The moves follow similar changes at Netflix and other streaming services, many of which have recently launched price increases, ad-supported tiers, and password-sharing crackdowns of their own. The introduction of the new ad-supported tier in the UK means that the price of access to Disney Plus has dropped. Prices previously started at $7.99. The new changes will also bring a new option called Disney Plus Standard, which will cost $7.99. That comes at the current price, but removes options such as 4K streaming and the ability to stream on 4 devices at once. The existing tier will become Disney Plus Premium and cost $10.99 per month. If users do not opt out of that change, they will face a £3 a month price increase. Similar price increases will go into effect elsewhere across the US and Europe. In the US, the price of Disney Plus will rise up to 27% to $13.99 per month, and a similar rise will go into effect at Hulu. Disney's announcements came as it revealed its recent quarterly results. during which Chief Executive Big Papa Bob Iger acknowledged that the entertainment company faces a challenging environment in the near term. No kidding. You're coming off of Bob Chapek. That's not a surprise. But he emphasized progress in cutting costs and focusing on creativity, even at quarterly results showed Disney's soft spots. Disney's stock rose nearly 3% in after-hours trading as Iger touted $1 billion in operating income improvement at the company's streaming business over the last 3 quarters, which is aiming for profitability in 2024. Hear that again. Aiming for profitability in 2024. They haven't even made money on Disney Plus yet. He said Disney will reduce the number of titles it releases and also the cost per title. Well done. That's what Bob Chapek screwed up. Disney said it cut losses at its streaming video services to $512 million in its fiscal third quarter from about $1.1 billion a year ago. Let me say that again. Last year, it made losses of $1.1 billion because of streaming. Let that resonate. Seriously. It added 800,000 Disney Plus subscribers, 100,000 subscribers shy of analyst estimates, and shed 12.5 million subscribers to the Disney Hotstar service in India, or nearly a quarter of its subscribers, as it gave up rights to Indian Premier League cricket matches. Oh no, God forbid. And it goes on and on to talk about Disney price increases in other areas. Now, AJ, before I make us go vertical, let us all reflect on why streaming was created. Streaming was meant to be the great equalizer, diverse, broad library of Alexandria levels of entertainment ready at our fingertips for much, much, much less than cable. That's how Netflix started. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. And then what happened? Netflix makes a loss year after year after year. But then all these other companies decided, hey, we want to get into the streaming game. Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount, Apple TV, they all want to get into the streaming game. What do they all have? What do they all keep on going? Amazon Prime, keep on going. HBO Max. What do they all have in common? They all make a loss. Because as it was just said, Disney Plus last fiscal year cost Disney $1.1 billion. The wonderful equalizer for us as consumers that streaming was meant to be, the great replacement for cable, entertainment at your fingertips. Here's a funny little thing I dug up, AJ. Now, we all like The Boys, right? Oh, but if you want to watch The Boys, you need to be subscribed to Amazon Prime. A lot of people like The Witcher. Maybe not so much season 3, but I mean, you want to watch The Witcher, you need Netflix. Oh, you want to watch that Mandalorian show? Nah, you're going to need Disney Plus for that, pal. Oh, you want to check out that new Kevin Costner drama, Yellowstone? Yeah, you're going to need Paramount Plus for that. Oh, you've heard Ted Lasso is really funny. Yeah, it is. It's great. Well, you're going to need Apple TV for that. You see how these things start to stack up for us as consumers? So I've done a little bit of digging now on the entry-level costs of these things. Netflix, $8.99, Amazon, $15.99, Disney Plus, $13.99, Apple TV, $6.99, Hulu, £12, Paramount, $6.99, coming to a total of £64.95. Now, granted, some of these shows or some of these streaming services have exclusivity on their platforms. Like, you genuinely can't see the content elsewhere. But for the more broad things, like your Star Wars movies, like some of your Marvel movies, like the classic Disney animated movies, you can still get those on cable. Do you know how much the entry-level cable package costs? 39 quid! We've all been duped into buying into this idea that streaming is more beneficial for us. Cable, if you have all of these streaming services, if you don't, fine, argument doesn't apply to you. But I know a lot of you out there have a lot of these. Do your calculations and just register this. Sky in the UK, Sky Stream with Netflix, included is £39 a month. Riddle me that for a moment.
See, this is something I recall saying when I first heard of Disney Plus. I was like, hold on, you want me to get Disney Plus on top of Amazon? And the reason I've got Prime, I'll be honest, is because we have Amazon Prime. You know, it's not for Prime TV, it's an added bonus. It's because we're Prime members. It kind of works to have the Amazon package. But you start looking at certain things and you're like, right, the minute you heard Disney are going exclusive, all of their content, you're like, every studio is going to do this, and this is what's happened, and this is what comes out. And that's what I said. I was going to be, it's just as I remember saying, it's just as expensive as Sky, because once you start to add the packages on, well, as you said, that's the entry level. The difference between an entry level with Sky versus these ones is that, okay, there are certain limitations. Disney Plus, if you go on at a certain entry level, okay, you lose 4K, but you've got the entire library. Sky, you've got this, you miss out on Sky Sports, you don't get a certain movie channel, you don't get a kids channel, like certain things. I know Disney Channel's gone in favor of Disney Plus, but this is what I'm saying, based on the entry level. Like, if you need to go all in, you're at the £60. Now, if you go all in on both, you're looking at like £120, you know, just to be able to get entertainment. And I never saw it as a challenge to cable. I saw it was a challenge to like your DVDs and everything. And there was certain levels of content. What bugs me with this, and I understand that these people have made losses, is do they not understand that while they have made losses, we have not been earning? It's not like everyone is in a boom right now. Specifically as a UK resident, there's a thing called a cost of living crisis, which we're dealing with right now. You know, so much so that people are scared to put their freaking heating on in the winter. You know, that used to be a pensioners problem. Everyone was scared to this winter just gone. And I get losses are there and things need to be recouped since the global attack that we had of a pandemic. But it needs to start making sense, and it starts to be into something. And what bugs me with this whole Disney thing is your content's not even been that banging at the moment. Yes, I said it recently to my bro. You know, I was like, I'm like, the content's not there. And he's like, he barely watches Disney Plus. And I was like, well, we use it based on what we do in this pod industry. Like, for us to get stuff, I can catch it. I'm not rewatching Marvel movies 12 times over. I'm looking for new content, and it helps to have it. He then warned me, as you said, done you a solid, that, oh, by the way, they're looking at going down the Netflix route. And I'm like, I'm ready for that. And I don't like it though, because the backlash, but it's not for me to see and say, well, oh, good luck with that. But I do believe we as a consumer need to start putting our foot down and being like, hold on, this ain't working, because password sharing allowed a lot of this stuff to go there. Greed, well, it's not greed because they're making losses, but something needs to happen. There needs to be a balance somewhere along the way. I'm the Netflix owner now, and when the time comes, I know I will be, and I know I'll go all in. Just because I like the fact that I can give. Right now, I'm still paying for a major 5 options, and I'm the only Netflix holder because it can only happen in my household. I'm going to go all in because I want 4K when I want 4K, and I want to be able to watch it on my phone and possibly off my PlayStation at the same time without someone going, what does that mean? So yes, I will pay it. So I am a hypocrite, but something needs to balance, because at the moment, I'm only part of 3 different streams. I can't level up, well, 4 including BritBox, but I haven't got time for Apple, Hulu, Warner, and I want to see the stuff on there, but there needs to be a balance. There's only so much an individual household could earn. So if they really do want to make a greater win, I know I'm saying it for a personal benefit, but I don't think the sharing's such a bad problem, because it allows people to invest in you guys. Whereas you might find that people be like, you know what, I'm done with it. And they might just go for one streaming service over the rest. Like, you know what, Netflix give me the perfect mix. I don't even have that time for that much TV. Like, for me, if I'm not watching a film, I'm watching Friends. I don't need the other streaming services. Think about it, guys, because you will cancel one in terms of the other gradually, just because of what's trending for you in that time. Whereas you can get a continuous subscription if you still allow sharing. Just the thought.
Well, look, there's something else to be said here, is that this isn't confirmed, but there's talk of some of the streaming services starting collaborations with each other and doing something called bundling, so you can get Netflix, like Sky do, essentially. That crazy thing, they're going to copy the Sky model. Who knew that works, right? But genuinely, I send this message out to people with warning. Don't think that you're getting such a sweet deal with that $4.99 or $7.99 reduction. You're going to be bombarded with ads. Do not give companies your money and allow them to play ads as well. You are paying a premium to watch your content ad free. And I can tell you from having done it, going from ad free back to ad, not only is it painful, I find it quite gross because I'm paying these guys to then sell me advertising, which they're making money from as well. So they're making double. But here's the thing. Genuinely, I believe this. In the next, not even 5 years, less than 5 years, I reckon you're going to start seeing the streaming services each charging between $30 to $40 on the simple basis. Look at Disney Plus, $10.99, and they record a 1.1 billion loss on their streaming. And if people aren't going to get them making money through advertising, they're just going to crank up the price. Anything you want to add?
I don't think you're wrong. I don't know if you're here for the UK. We had Pure Gym and I can't remember the other one. The gym. Gym, £5 a month. And everyone's like, there's a £5 gym, 24 hours. I beg you to, and that used to be all sites for a £5. I beg you, find me one Pure Gym that still has that price. And I'm not shooting at them guys, but they get you in, they think they've got you, and then they feel that they could take liberties. And I refused. When I saw Netflix offer me an ad version, I was like, don't you dare. I didn't pay it. I'm not doing it. I will go for the ad-free version. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I seen an advert. And I don't actually like this idea. It's gross. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. I find it difficult to watch Freevee on Amazon Prime. I feel like, why am I watching an advert in that? Like, I want to watch this film and you're giving me an advert. I was even shocked that when I downloaded the film, it came with the adverts in between. That got me. I don't know. And I like the way people are like, oh, even ITV do it. You can watch Coronation Street without adverts for an extra $5.99. And this is the same company that told me they are linked with BritBox, yet I don't have the same package, even though I'm a BritBox member. Guys, no. As I said at the top, and I'll end it with this, there's a cost of living crisis. You will see people just back off. And I see it. I think bundling would work, but I go back to it. We joke about AJ Vision on the movie Mount Rushmore. That's the only thing I'm willing to pay for, really, because all of these things, if they were bundled, I'm down for it. Give me an archive catalog. Don't start removing stuff because it's not right. I now feel cheated. I'll even take it to the wrestling side of it. Unedited footage, this, that, and the other. There are stuff I'm looking for that I can't find. You're wrong. Disney Plus are just as guilty. There are Disney and Fox productions you can't find. That's not what you guys advertise. Yet you're hiking your prices. Think about it. It's wrong.
Yeah, it's very wrong. And we're going to end it there. I want to know what all of you guys have to think. Are you going to be one of the people who, for the sake of saving money, bends over for these companies and pays for the advertising for the sake of saving £3? Just bear in mind, you're paying to be advertised to there. Not okay. Are you going to, if they continue to do the price hikes, back off, as AJ suggested? Are you going to go full in? Let us know how you consume your streaming media. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Right, AJ, our last story from a few days ago, Deadpool news.
Cool.
And it's sadly not good news. Now, you remember, I think it was a few weeks ago, we were reporting the huge change of the release window and the release calendar for Disney and for all of the studios, in fact, because of the Hollywood writers' strike, right? And we mentioned that, like, the one positive is the fact that Deadpool is being moved forward. Spoke too soon, unfortunately, because not only has Deadpool been delayed, it's been reportedly removed from Disney's calendar of upcoming releases. Deadpool 3.
I think I heard this, yeah.
Yep, it's bad, man. Deadpool 3 could be delayed due to the ongoing strikes at Hollywood. It was originally scheduled for May 2024, could potentially be delayed due to the ongoing situation in Hollywood. The film, which marks Ryan Reynolds' debut in the MCU, had to halt production due to an actor strike, and the resolution of the conflict remains uncertain. Additionally, Disney's calendar of upcoming theatrical releases does not feature Deadpool 3, implying that the film's release date might be pushed back along with other projects. Oh, good. So even with Deadpool 3 Even when Deadpool 3 was one of the few upcoming releases from Marvel Studios that actually managed to be pushed up instead of pushed back, setting its debut day for May 2024, the latest adventure from the Merc with a Mouth could now be delayed due to the current situation in Hollywood. Right after the merge between 20th Century Fox and Disney, was already completed, Marvel Studios didn't hesitate on announcing that Ryan Reynolds' Wade Wilson would be one of the many characters that would join the MCU in the near future, along with the Fantastic Four. The actor wanted to make sure his debut within the MCU would be unforgettable, so he convinced his longtime friend Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine one more time in Deadpool 3. Just a few weeks after the film directed by Sean Levy started shooting, the actor's strike began, so production had to be shut down until the conflict is solved. For now, that seems unlikely. So many studios are considering delaying some of their upcoming releases because the movies or TV shows may not be done by the time they need to be, and Deadpool 3 could be part of that list. According to a new calendar for Disney's upcoming theatrical releases published by comicbook.com, so take that with a pinch of salt, the third film from the Merc with a Mouth saga is missing from the list. The full list includes A Haunting in Venice, The Creator, The Marvels, Next Goal Wins, which is the new Taika Waititi film, Wish, The Bike Riders, Magazine Dreams, Poor Things, the new film from Lagos Lanthimos, All of Us Strangers, Elio, the new Pixar movie, Snow White, bleh, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I'm really looking forward to, and Inside Out Part 2, which I'm also really looking forward to. Deadpool 3 will also star Morena Baccarin, Stefan Kapicic, Leslie Uggams, Karim Sunny, Rob Delaney, Brian Hildebrand, Zazie Beetz, and Shiori Kutsuna, reprising their roles from the past two films, with Emma Corrin and Matthew McFadden joining them on their MCU debut. The movie is also rumored to include some cameos from past 20th Century Fox superheroes, such as Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Jessica Alba as Sue Storm, that's news, Halle Berry as Storm, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, Ian McKellen as Magneto, among many others. So, AJ, your thoughts on Deadpool 3 being delayed? Hit me, brother.
It sucks, but you know what? I can't say I support the strike and then have a go. I can't. It's hypocritical. This is the consequences of a strike. It's the same way that if I disagree with if I support the train strikes and then I moan that the train just says cancelled while I'm on the platform, I don't support it. I'm going to get frustrated by it, but it is what it is. There's a lot riding on this stuff, and it sucks as a film fan. Yes, it does. But as a film fan, I also appreciate that the people I see on the screen need their dues. And if they believe that this is the way to be heard, we have to go through pain in order for them to gain. It sucks. It does suck. I think the indefinite suspension sounds worse than it is. It's just because you don't know how to schedule it. Because if work needs doing and the strike is in place, you can't complete the project. It's as simple as. It's hard. End line is it has to be there. As I've said, and I will continue to say, I support these guys and girls and ladies and gents. So it sucks, but it's the casualties of war as it is. It's not over. It's not that they said we've suspended, and trust me, they will not drop this film. Even though you see indefinitely removed people, there has been enough money in this project already. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are not cheap, okay? You will see Deadpool 3. I guarantee you that. So it sounds worse than it is. We just need to ride the storm that is the Hollywood actors and writers strike. It sucks. We're going to go through some rough patches. The stuff we're excited for aren't going to come straight away. But if you support them, it's there. If you don't support them, then maybe you don't deserve to watch their films. So it's tough, but I've got no choice but to accept it.
Agree with everything you've just said. There's one thing that's just come to mind that actually worries me quite a bit. Hugh Jackman is no spring chicken anymore. Still looks amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, look at the shape he's in this image. He looks crazy good here. Like, he's in the best shape of his life, as always. But let's also remember why Hugh Jackman said that he wanted to stop doing Wolverine. He couldn't take the routine anymore. But not my words, his. It was so much stress on his body to be in shape like that, to stay in shape like that. Now you're talking about an indefinite strike. he needs to stay in that shape during the strike.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to be able to handle that. Not to say that he can't handle that, but does he want to?
And if
I
he gets
smell
out of
something.
shape, it delays production even more. Yeah.
Exactly. Being out of shape, if that does happen, will then delay production even more. I smell something rotten in the state of Denmark beyond the Hollywood writers' strike here, which I obviously do support. I'm worried about the adverse effect this is going to have on the production beyond the strike. But that's just my thoughts. Let us know what you guys all think down below, and leave your thoughts in your comments. How do you feel about the delay, the inevitable delay of Deadpool 3? Let us know down below. But now, AJ, it is time to take that horrible path down the long and winding, dusty road of TBT Boulevard. Yuck. In a section that we simply call Throwback Thursday Movies.
It's that hashtag time. We are throwing it back. Throw up your TBTs because it's a Thursday if you're watching this, if you're not watching the full show. And yeah, we're going to go back in time and we're going to appreciate what the world of cinema had to give us this week in the past.
Yeah, nothing for the 30 years this week. Now, what's interesting is there's very little that came out 30 years ago in August, which again, kind of just is a wider reflection on when people say, oh, they don't make original movies anymore. And it's like, well, there's actually never been a time in Hollywood history where more original movies have just been made. You're just not going to see them. Take a case in point. Look at the movie releases 30 years ago. Not much was happening. Look at movies 10 and 20 years ago. Progressively a lot more. But 10 years old, AJ, the second in this franchise, which always hurts, right? Well, always sucks. Not as good as the first movie, in my opinion, but still fun. Kick-Ass 2.
This was a weird film.
Right?
This was a weird film. I remember getting excited. It was fun seeing Jim Carrey, and it was like, okay, here we go. But it wasn't Kick-Ass 1, which was insane. And I remember watching them back to back. I'd seen them both, and I was like, it's there, but it's not. You know, even the good old JC couldn't save this one. Put it that way. It was just lacking. It was fun though. It was fun. As a completionist, I'd give it a watch it. You know, it's not going to rock your world, but it's not going to ruin your world either. You know, just more of the same, but just not as good. So for me, if you're a completionist, by all means, if it's something to be like, if I miss it, it's there. So it's a very bland mid side. It's not up, it's not down. You're just a straight mid.
I'm going to completely co-sign that. I think the first of this franchise is an absolute revelation in perfectly mixing hyper-violent superhero and kind of slapstick in a way. It was just a perfect kind of storm in a teacup. This didn't have it. And I think the thing that cost this the most, despite Jim Carrey being there, the lack of Nick Cage as Big Daddy, man. Like, that guy really was needed. And him not being there, you felt it. And the second movie was a bit of a letdown for me. So also, mid-range. It's not a bad movie, but just when held next to the first one, your life will be no less complete if you never see this. However, I strongly recommend you see the first one if you haven't. It's fantastic. And 20 years ago, AJ, from the world of horror, but yeah, more your brand of horror than my brand of horror. Definitely more your brand of horror than my brand of horror. Not a great film. You may not have seen it, but geeky fun. 20 years old this week, AJ. Freddy versus Jason.
I actually have this on DVD, believe it or not. This is one of those films that I had on my collection. I had Alien versus Predator. I had Freddy versus Jason. The funny thing,
no evil said about Alien versus Predator. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. This was weird because here's the thing. As a kid, I'd seen Nightmare on Elm Street, the TV series, so I knew both of these characters very well. But because I was so young, I wasn't aware of what I was watching about Freddy being the guy who creeps into your dreams. So funny enough, it was a bit of an education for me. I was like, he's just in the dreams, really? Is that the story? Is that what I was being reintroduced to the character. It was average. Like again, it's such a weird mix of like two great hitters going at it, and you're like there, and I don't want to go into spoiler, but I just remember the closing scene of it where they're both in the underworld essentially, and you're just seeing this part of Freddy talking, and that's all you can see of Freddy essentially. Again, not going into spoiler territory. And I was like, oh, is that how we're ending this film? Okay. Kind of felt like, will they make a part two? Will they not? I didn't need to see a part two. It worked. It just worked because, but it's very much using two franchises as the hype. It's a hype machine movie. It's not a must see. It's a hype machine. I don't want to be that guy, but once again, I'm going to quote MJF. Mid. It's just there. It's not crap. It's definitely not great. It's mid. Very mid.
Yeah, to quote Ronda Rousey, and the crowd goes mild.
Exactly.
Great line. But look, it's harmless. It's not one of those movies that's so bad that it's going to like offend you to your core. It's also not one of those it's so bad that it's good. It's just there. I think it's a bit of harmless popcorn, Coke and popcorn fun if you like the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchises. There's some fun to be had here seeing these two titans of horror go up against each other. And in terms, unlike Godzilla versus Kong, where I think it's like who wins, wow, here it's like who wins, who cares?
Yeah.
So I'm going to co-sign with you on this one. It doesn't get the Julius Caesar thumbs up or down. It's like, yeah, you can live to fight another day. You know what? If you are a completionist and you've seen all of them, yeah, check it out. It plays with the lore very nicely, but don't expect to be like blown away or anything.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of another edition of Silver Screen News. It has been a blast having you all. We want to hear what you think about Barbie, about the streaming scandals, about Blue Beetle. Let us know all down in the comment section down below. Reach out to us on X. If you want to speak to us directly, just search for @MovieMTRushmore. And speaking of Movie MT Rushmore, that's the handle for our podcast, Movie Mount Rushmore, which you can catch right now on our YouTube channel. Our most recent one was the top 10 movies about toys. So you can catch that as well as a load of other episodes. And be sure to tune in next week for more Silver Screen News. As always, on a Wednesday, right here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. But until then, I'm Nico Liro.
I'm the one AJ. See ya.
See ya.